This is Hidden Killers Week in Review.
A look back at the most prolific stories of the week.
This is the Hidden Killers podcast with Tony Brueski.
Featuring former FBI Special Agent and Chief of the Counterintelligence Behavioral Analysis Program, Robin Dreeke.
If we are to see a new Alec Murdaugh trial, is it a repeat of the last one? Do you think we're going to see exactly the same things happen? Because there was a lot that took place in the Alec Murdaugh trial that a lot would argue it really damned him beyond the circumstantial evidence of the murder itself, specifically the financial crimes.
I suspect we'd see exactly the same thing again. Might get one change though. His behavior in the courtroom the first time was a lot of acting that we saw, a lot of forced acting. I still think he was going through a lot of withdrawal symptoms from his drug addiction. So you're seeing more raw emotions from him that he couldn't necessarily have under control. He definitely knows as a lawyer, a courtroom lawyer, what the jury's looking for, not looking for. I'm sure he has reflected a lot on what he would do differently with his presence and his behavior in the courtroom. So I would suspect we'd probably see very similar case, but what we'll see differently is him in the courtroom and the jury's response to him.
Do you think we'll see a third party suspect? That they really didn't go down that road at all in the case. And I think honestly, we've speculated on that. I could see that there may have been someone else who did this, but Alec Murdaugh surely knows who it is and why they were there. There's a lot of question about that. I would wonder if, would it make sense to do that on a second shot at this? Because if it wasn't him, it was somebody. I don't know why they didn't attempt to go down that road the first time.
So it definitely gives them more time to think and come up with a theory, whether they are able to come up with a person or body or not that does that. And they come up with a theory on that, which again sows seeds of doubt. And so beyond reasonable doubt goes out the window.
And that's all you really have to do. Maybe it's the, there's so many, there's unsolved murders all around this case, Stephen Smith being another one. Obviously, Buster Murdaugh has never, said anything about it in terms of having anything to do with it. And I highly doubt, honestly, that he had anything to do with that case, but it's an unsolved murder. Alec Murdaugh is someone who had a lot of people that have a lot of reason to not like him. For all the financial crimes, all of that was starting to come out. Is it impossible to think that there was somebody who did this as a hit, almost, mafia style, where I'm not going to kill you, I'm going to kill your family, because that's going to make your life a hell of a lot worse, knowing that your loved ones were murdered because of your bad acts.
Well, you see me thinking. I haven't really contemplated that before. Possible. So it's possible, for some. So there'd have to throw out a theory. You're going to have to demonstrate some sort of data points and evidence along the way to support that theory. Because otherwise they're going to throw it out in court. And
it is just a theory. I mean, that's the thing, that we haven't had a lot of evidence to that at all. Just a lot of weird pieces to this puzzle.
I mean, to me, the Murdaugh case is Diddy light is a good way to put it, because you have a circle of people and protectors around him that are influenced by his money and his notoriety in that region that are fixers. And so I think what'll be interesting if it does get tried again, have more fixers come out of the woodwork. How we're able to uncover more fixers that were maybe loosely tied, maybe not quite aware of what they were actually doing, not doing. So I think, we might see more leakage of the type of network that he had established of people in his life that defense is going to try to drag out to say he is guilty. And at the same time, there might be people willing to stand up and say he's not, if they can put one of these theories out there and it sticks, because that's what it's going to come down to. It's going to have to be something new that has some sort of data trail that says, yeah, this is very plausible. I mean, what you said, it's plausible. Someone that is that disliked is plausible, but same time though, we would have saw data trails leading to it, behaviors from others along the way to this point, and that we're not seeing. And that's where conspiracy theories always kind of fall apart.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theories come about because you have people that want to believe something, so they're going to imagine what it could be, and then they're going to have a confirmation bias looking for data to support that theory that's laying out there. Mm-hmm. And so in this case, I'm sure other people have thought the same thing. And so they're going to have a confirmation bias trying to look for data to support that theory, like the prosecution, like the defense would. And since they haven't been able to do that, my thought is they probably won't be able to in trial as well.
Well, if it is that, they certainly have found a miraculous way of laying low and never being discovered if there is somebody else out there.
Which is highly unusual.
It would be highly, especially with the amount of attention on this case specifically, one of the biggest ones in the last many years. That would be really kind of astounding. It does make you wonder, though, what could have possibly happened. But if you just look at the arc of Alec Murdaugh, maybe it is just as simple as it really is him. We have a person who is capable of destroying people's lives financially, mm-hmm. and having no guilt about it whatsoever. Just kept going on, doing his own thing and acting like Mr. Joe Good, and everybody loves him, and and all of his colloquialisms and such. But on the inside, he was a monster to many, many people. So when the chips are down and the people are starting to catch on for the financial crimes, what does one do? What does a narcissist do when the chips are down in general? Just take Alec Murdaugh out of the equation, just a narcissistic type person or an extreme narcissist. You want pity. You want to try and shift the attention somewhere else off of you, and then boom, people are going to care about you, and all this horrible shit over here is not going to have as much weight as it would otherwise. How do you get some of that pity like that? How about your wife and kid being murdered? I mean, that's quite extreme, but we've seen Alec Murdaugh in action, and he seems to have the ability to do that without a whole lot of guilt or really any emotional response.
So one element that I keep mentioning that people kind of slips away on people, and we've seen this with every single crazy case like this, there's addiction at play.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Too much alcohol that we've seen numerous times, mm-hmm. or drugs. Yep. He's an admitted drug addict. Mm-hmm. He was doing hardcore cocaine and who knows what else. As he said in his own words, yep. He was addicted to drugs. And so that alone destroys lives. That mm-hmm. destroys decision-making processes. And so if you got a life arc of serving yourself, as we saw through all the evidence is why he was convicted, and you throw on top of that drugs, mm-hmm. you're not in your right mind. Yeah. You do really stupid crap, and like kill your own family, mm-hmm. because you're in some drug-induced rage, or who the hell knows, or drug-induced psychopathy where you're looking for pity, whatever the hell it is. Yeah. You don't think straight whatsoever. And so once again, never, I'm sure he said, if I just did more drugs, it would have turned out better.
Exactly.
All right, true crime addicts, let's cut the crap. You're knee-deep in the gory details of your favorite podcast when suddenly a commercial hits like a bad meal. Seriously? You deserve better. Upgrade to True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts, where you can binge without those annoying ads. Plus, get extended interviews that go deeper into the darkness and early access to episodes so you can be the first to know. It's like trading up from fast food to fine dining, but with more blood. So, go ahead. Search for True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe and feast on the good stuff.